lot of time as you're talking about different programs. And we talk about family at Clemson. It's not just something that we say. It's something that you can feel, something that you can touch, something that you can see. And the continuity of the staff, exemplifies that. And it helps us because we all know how each other thinks. Guys are going ahead and taking care of things ahead of time before I even have to bring it up because you have that continuity. And then in recruiting, it just drives and illustrates that, Clemson is about family. And when you're about family, then you're going to have everybody involved because it takes all of us to help these young men maximize their potential. It can't just be Coach Sweeney, it can't just be Coach Elliott, but it takes everybody to help those young men develop.
Of course, Feaster's coming off of labor surgery. Do you expect him to be able to make an immediate impact or a big impact early on in the year?
Right. I told him to be ready. He has to have the mindset that he's ready to come compete, day one for the starting job, and then we'll evaluate where he is. But then also, too, one thing I've learned, and I try not to put unrealistic expectations on young men, or really put expectations on them. I want to deal with where they're at, because my focus is to help them get better. And if I got expectations of where they should be, and if they're not there, then now I'm thinking a certain kind of way about that situation, as opposed to, hey, this is where he's at, this is where we want to go, this is what we need to do to get there. So I'm hoping for an impact early in the season, but it's really going to be dependent upon not just the shoulder, but it's going to be other functions as well. How quick he picks up the playbook, how solid he is in pass protection. Does he have a willingness to do it? Does he pick it up and understand defensive structure? So there's a lot of things outside of the shoulder that can determine whether or not he's ready to roll early in the season.
Thank you, Coach.
You talk about Sean's work ethic, and so many times the guys that have this amount of success followed by this amount of hype, it's hard to kind of corral that focus again the next year.
Right.
Obviously, he's a unique cat. He's not like everybody else. But what have you seen from him that's kind of assured you that the outside stuff that's going to surround him this year is not a concern for him?
Just go look at what he's done academically, this summer. Taking 17 hours in the summer to keep himself on track to graduate in 3 years amidst all the hype, all the demands, all the different camps the program will be a part of, all those things, all of the requirements that he has to do for football, all the workouts, all of the individual drills that they're responsible for running. So that just is a testament to me that he hasn't lost his focus. And then when you go watch him in the weight room, you look at his body, you look where he's at, you talk to him about how are things going when the team's going out by themselves and conducting workouts, and everything is positive. So, I don't anticipate that the hype will get to the show.
Is there anybody, kind of, I guess, maybe more of an off-the-record kind of question, but is there anybody that, as you kind of game planned last year, watching tape, that maybe wasn't a star around the league last year, but guys that you kind of saw, a handful of plays that you said, that guy might not be too far from breaking out?
With us or with
anybody? I mean, on your team or elsewhere, if there's any names that kind of jumped out to you that you were like, I'm surprised that guy put up better numbers or is more impactful based on what you're seeing?
It's hard to recall because when you watch a game, as a coach, you watch it from a different perspective when you're preparing for an opponent. But just internally, Ray McLeod, I'm excited for him and ready for him to kind of put it all together. After having some success as a freshman, but then also having some opportunities to grow. So I'm excited about seeing where he is when we get back. I'm really looking forward to the progress of Jake from Morgan at right tackle. Excited about Taylor Hearn. I'm really excited about Taylor Hearn at left guard. He's got a chance to have a big impact up front to help us. Leggett as well. Can we as coaches find a way to keep him, involved throughout the entire season? Like, he was dominant in the first part of the season. He had 7 games in a row. We had a touchdown pass, and he made big plays throughout the course of the season. But just find ways to keep him involved in every single game plan, because I think that's going to keep everybody balanced. Mike Williams, just really excited to see Mike Williams get out there. From what I saw in the spring, I think he's going to come back better than he was. So excited about him. I love Jay doesn't get the credit. I think last year there was a lot of talk about several of the other guys up front, but Jay Guillermo, if I had to say, and I don't like to pick favorites, but he's my favorite. I love being around Jay Guillermo just because of the spirit that he has, the appreciation that he has to be playing football, the way that he prepares. Everybody talks about Deshaun, but a lot of the traffic that's directed offensively goes through Jay Guillermo. And so just seeing where he is mentally and how he's kind of pulled the young guys and really unified that offensive line room, it's a lot of fun to watch him every day.
How much, as a coach, having guys like him, I know Dodd was a great example last year, guys who went through a few years of their career and you're thinking, man, these guys might never see the field really, and now they are cornerstones of what we're doing. That's got to be a great example to just show to everybody behind them.
And that's what makes Coach Sweeney special. I think that's what makes him different than many guys in the country that are in his position, is that he believes in the players and he can see the long-term vision. Whereas I think with recruiting and the way college football is now, we want that instant, immediate Sammy Watkins success right now. And if they don't come in as a freshman and have All-American status, then they're not as good. And that's not the case, because I know that I'm going to be a better play caller year 2 than I was year 1. And hopefully year 3 than year 2. And so each year you're going to get better because you learn from your mistakes, you learn from your successes. And I think that's what's happened in recruiting more so than anything, is because we want guys that come in, but you're talking about a 17, 18-year-old that's stepping on the field with a 22-year-old, essentially grown man, with 3 to 4 years experience on them, and then you expect them to compete at that same level. And everybody matures at different rates, and a lot of it is not necessarily physically, it's just the mental maturity that they got to go through. And sometimes it takes, just look at your friends, yourself, your family. Males, we all mature at different rates.
I'm hoping to get there one day.
I'm hoping to get there too.
Well, on that note, you have so many weapons on this offense. How do you work to keep everybody happy?
I think it goes back to just the core values and principles of our program. There's no entitlement. You're not entitled to anything. Everything that you receive, you got to earn it. So I think it starts there. And then just, those guys remembering what it took for us to be successful last year, and it was because, everybody, had to contribute. And you never know when your game is going to come up or when your number is going to be called. And, who would have thought Hunter Renfrow was going to catch 2 touchdowns in the national championship game? But because he understood that you get what you earn, he was willing to work to put himself in position to be successful. So that's the biggest key, is just having these guys going and committing to their best every single day, and then however the cards fall, you can appreciate that. It doesn't mean you necessarily have to like it, but you have an appreciation, and when you have an appreciation, then you value the man next to you, you value the team over yourself, and so you put in the work for the team to be successful ultimately. And I think when the team's successful, we've been talking about it all day, just the brand recognition with Clemson nationally, just the expectations. Everybody's benefited because the team was successful. We wouldn't want to come out here and talk about an unsuccessful team with a very, very talented player at one position. There wouldn't be a whole lot of conversation with it.